Well, hello, and welcome to another edition of the Archeryshack Shoptalk podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm TJ.
This is podcast number 61. Thank y'all for tuning in. We got stuff to talk about today. We got questions. We got answers. We got the rut to talk about. A few new bows have been released. Some more bows are about to be released. All kind of cool stuff. A couple shop stories. So thank y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all are doing well. Got some information about a shoot coming up, 3D shoot.
Yep.
Actually, speaking of 3D shoots, there was one in North Carolina today at somewhere. I can't remember.
I can't remember. I remember seeing it, but I can't remember where it was at.
Crap. The Western North Carolina guys, it might have been at Western. I think they had one.
Might have been.
So hopefully that went well for them. But hope y'all are doing well. Hunting season's rocking and rolling. It's cooling off, and now it seems like it's heating back up here. But does are starting to chase real good. Seen some big old deer shot in the last week or two.
Yeah.
So hopefully y'all are doing well. If you've shot a big deer, I don't think you can post it if you're watching on YouTube, but you can get in our group, Friends of the Archery Shack, and we're doing an awful job of commenting in there, but we're trying to get better slowly. But feel free to post pictures or questions or anything you want to post in there is just fine. So it's called Friends of the Archery Shack on Facebook. Let's talk about some new bows that have came out. We've touched on it a little bit before. Is there a Bear book? Here's one. Bear, of course, has came out with their stuff, and we've ordered it. We're just waiting on it to show up any day now. But they came out with a couple new bows. The Redemption is their top of the line bow this year. I'll just throw out some specs. If you want to look up, I should have done this before we started, but the new Elite stuff that just dropped, look those specs up. But the Redemption is a 242 IBO speed, 31-inch axle to axle, 6 1/4 brace height. Draw lengths 26 to 30, 4.1 pounds. I shot it in here when the rep came by. It was a pretty good feeling bow. It's going to retail for about $1,000. Just to be honest, I love Bear. We sell Bear products, but this bow against, say, a Prime or a whatever, just wasn't quite up to par in my honest opinion. But still a good shooting bow, and I'm not saying, you definitely want to shoot it. Some people will love this bow. There was nothing in particular I hated about it. It just had a little more vibration and stuff going on than some other bows on the same stat. Still got the status. They got the Inception. The Inception is a 340 feet per second bow. Kind of puts me in mind of last year's Paradox HC. But it's going to be like a $600 package. The Whitetail Legend, which we've got some of those coming. It's a solo cam type of deal, 320 feet per second. Comes as a nice package for around a little less than $500, so I think that'll be a good one. But Bear, for us, Bear does really well at that $300 to $500 market, and for kids' bows and that sort of thing, and it's hard to beat. And they're the same company as Trophy Ridge, and Trophy Ridge makes a ton of different sights from cheap to expensive. So we, and then PSE is about to drop some bows that we know very little about, but I know we've got a couple on order. I've got some more of those Uprisings coming, and it's geared toward kid, beginner, but it's a $320 package. Very nice, super adjustable bow. I need to do a video review on one of those soon, and we will. But Elite dropped some bows just a couple days ago. I hadn't even looked at the specs of them.
Yeah, they come out with 4, it looks like, this year. I guess their main one is the Encore. It's a 33-inch axle to axle, 6-inch brace height, 4.55 pounds, and it comes in draw lengths of 23 to 30, it looks like. Yeah. And then the next one is a Remedy, 34-inch axle to axle, 6 3/8-inch brace height, 4.6 pounds, 24 to 31 inches of draw. The Result 36 axle to axle, 6 and I'm doing some quick math. Says 6.8125 on the brace height. 8125 is what?
Pretty much right at 7/8.
Yeah. 4.7 pounds. 23 to 30 on that one. And the Embark is a 32-inch axle to axle, 6 1/4-inch brace, 4.21 pounds, and 25.5 to 29.5-inch draw length.
I'd like to shoot those.
I'd like to shoot this Encore.
I've seen a few reviews already about them. They look like nice shooting bows. Matthews, this is more geared more towards the target people, but they came out with a TRX 34, 36, and the 38 G2. Of course, that's the lengths of them. Looks like speeds are right around that 330 mark, but it looks like for a target bow, I'd like to test fire the 34, because to me that would almost be a good do anything bow, but it makes me curious. Who else? Anybody else come out with bows? We're waiting on PSE. Should literally be in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Prime and Matthews are going to be mid-November. Hoyt came out with a ladies bow. I'll look it up real quick because they had some neat specs. But I think, well, here's my question. So the ATA show canceled. It was going to be in Indy in January. They canceled it. And that's where a lot of people had said, well, because of the COVID and people were out of work, we're going to back up our bow release till ATA. Well, now that there's no ATA, what's going to happen?
Well, Matthews, Prime, and PSE's already releasing bows. Bears released bows. I don't think Bowtech has released anything yet.
I think we're going to wait till ATA. So
I think so, too. I can see them kind of.
And they were one of the first ones to pull out of the ATA is what I heard. So
yeah.
Who knows?
I can kind of see Bowtech about the same time as Matthews and Prime and Hoyt and all them.
Well, PSE said we're just going to kind of release stuff throughout the year now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that means for good or for just now or what.
I don't know. Trying to think of anybody else. I don't think like Obsession. I don't think they've released anything. Expedition or Athens or some of your smaller companies, I hadn't heard anything about a release on those.
I'm doing my best to find this lady's bow. You don't remember the name of it, do you? Is it the Eclipse?
I think it is.
It's 314 feet per second. That says ATA, 29-inch axle to axle, 6 3/4 brace height. Let me read. Yeah, this is it. But they're getting that speed, not at an IBO. They're getting it. They don't say nothing about it. I hate when here, let me click on this. When you're this should be the selling point of the bow, and I can't even find nothing about it. Anyway, I'd read somewhere on Facebook that bow was smoking fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this says 314 ATA, not IBOs, and I can't remember how they got that, but I can't find it on their website without really digging. But anyway, they came out with that bow. Like you say, the smaller companies I hadn't heard anything about. So all that's good stuff. We know that Spot Hog's coming out, or really has come out with some knock-on type sights. I'm sure we'll get a few of those in. So it ought to be about that time where a lot of companies start between, really once November hits and January, everybody should be throwing their hat in and saying, here's what we got.
Yeah.
So I hate the ATA canceled, but we'll see how it goes without it. I just hate that we can't go shoot the bows and tell y'all, here's what we think. And I know, it's just one of those I may shoot a bow and hate it. TJ may love it, but we at least give you our thoughts on it.
Yeah. Wasn't they talking about doing a virtual show, or did they kind of can that idea too?
I think they're freaking out trying to figure out what to do. I hadn't heard anything else, but it's only been like a week since they canceled it. So we're having our pumpkin shoot out here. If you're watching this the week that came out, it'll be this coming week actually on Halloween Day. 3D shoot all day, and then at night we do our zombie shoot where there's light up targets and you got to shoot at them and all this stuff. But I'll be very, very, very soon posting a lot more about that on Facebook. I got a couple questions. Actually, let's talk about something else real quick. We got another new employee by the name of Bobby, and we'll have Bobby say hey one day on here. So we got TJ's brother. We got a couple months ago now.
Mm-hmm.
He's still trucking along. He's actually back there working now. You can probably hear him on the machine. And now we got another new guy named Bobby. So we're still slammed with working on bows and string orders and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So thank y'all for that. but I just wanted to throw his name out there. We also got a R26 Raven we're going to be doing a video on probably in the next week. So look for that to come out. What was I going to say? Okay, somebody asked, just said in general, talk about serving materials. Like, what do I need to, if I was going to order serving, what do I need to get for a peep, for a center serving, for this, for that? And I said, okay. So, in general, I would order, and I think I got a link to it in the description of these videos, but BCY 3D to me is like it's what we use a lot around cams. It's what we use to tie in peeps with. It's what we use to tie inside of our loops for the little knocking points. It's a good all-around serving. It's BCY 3D. You can get it in a ton of colors and this sort of thing. It's like a 16 thousandths diameter. Fairly inexpensive. Retails probably 16 or 20 bucks most on it.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a center serving, our recommendation is a material called Angel Majesty. It's just super, it won't separate hardly ever.
Yeah.
And for a center serving, you're either going to want a 21 thousandths or a 26. 21 is what we use the most of, but if somebody wants a pretty snug knot click on, or 26 is going to be the way to go.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing to sort of mention without getting into super all kind of stuff is BCY Halo is a very tough, that's what, like if you needed to reserve your cable where it goes around a sharp bend, not around the big cam on the outside, but like where you get your let off from on a cable, Halo or a smaller Angel Majesty is what you're going to want. But if you're just playing at home, in general, you could just order some black BCY 3D and probably be fine.
Yeah.
Now, somebody else would probably ask, can I take the 3D and put it on the center serving? You can, but it's not going to last very long. It's not meant for that. So it would work in a pinch and for a while, but it would eventually wear out. It's just a different blend of materials. But anyway, I thought I'd holler. I'll forget who asked that question, but guy just left talking about he had an older bow and kind of forgot about it and left it in the back of his truck. He said he had a bed cover, but he said, I know it got real hot. And I was like, man, I'm going to be honest. He said he was scared to draw it. And I said, if anything, let us draw it on the draw board.
Yeah.
But I said, it's fiberglass limbs. They're not meant to get hot.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he played that. Played it smart. Let's talk to him about clarifiers and verifiers. We get that question. That's probably one of our number one questions.
It is.
They, I was trying to look something up here. Clarifiers and verifiers, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's something you can put in your peep sight to clear up either your pin or the target. For a 3D shooter, you're going to most likely shoot a clarifier. And for a 3D shooter with a scope, with a magnification lens in it, most people have a hard time seeing the target. The target will be blurry. They make different powers of these clarifiers that screw in the peep. Specialty Archery is the number one folks that make this, and it'll clear that target up. Hunting folks sometimes have a hard time. It's the opposite. They can see the target but can't see their pin. That's where the verifier comes in. And it's one of those you really just got to tinker with. You know what I mean? Like, for me, shooting target stuff, if I put the verifier I need in my peep sight to super duper clear up the target, then I almost have a hard time seeing the pin. So I go in the middle. Like, I use a real low power verifier and I can see everything, but it's a little bit fuzzy. It's hard to explain this unless you're actually can show somebody, you know what I mean? So if you're unfamiliar, it's hard to explain it, but that's the gist of it. And like I say, Specialty Archery, they sort of invented this whole thing. There's a couple other companies piggybacking on them, but they've got a ton of different lenses and kits and all that, and we sell them. I'm going to do a better job of keeping all of them in stock, though, so people can try them.
The biggest thing, if you're going to go that route, I know Specialty, they sell an actual Peep Kit. So it'll come with a Peep Kit, and depending on, now their two big peep sights is the Podium and the PXL. The Podium sight's geared more towards a target shooter. I think the biggest aperture they make for that one is, I think, 3/16. But on the PXL side, it's a little bit bigger peep housing. and it'll go from 3/16, a quarter, or
I think it goes up to like 5/16.
I was thinking 5/16. There's like 3 or 4 different sizes in it, and that would be more of your hunting style. And you can either order a Clarifier kit or the Verifier kit, depending on what you need. And I mean, now it's expensive. Don't get me wrong. It's
I can't even remember. You're gonna spend some money.
But with that Clarifier or with that kit, you do get your the peep house, and you get, I can't remember how many sizes of apertures, and then you get a selection of either a Verifier or Clarifier that you can put in the peep. It does cost a little bit up front on that end, but
yeah, if you change down the road or want to change aperture sizes or any of that, you got it.
Yeah.
But like I say, I'm going to do better this coming year to where if a guy comes in, he can test out 1,000,000 different options without having to buy the kit unless he wants to buy the kit.
Yeah.
And then we'll be set. But yeah, that's sort of clarifiers and verifiers in a small chat. Another thing to announce is some of y'all have seen, we're good buddies with a group of folks. They call themselves Ghost 802. They got a Facebook page and they do some hunting videos and all that. Well, they shot a deer today. The fox. He shot a deer. And so go check out their page. I don't know if they videoed the shooting of the deer. I know he said they were putting up a video about it, so I thought I'd throw that out there. But anyway, beaming arrows. Somebody asked what happened to beaming arrows. So I guess a quick history. Beeman was the first folks to produce a carbon arrow. I can't remember. Don't ask me the year. Was it 90? I don't remember. Anyway, and then the most popular Beeman arrows right there at the end of the 90s was the little small carbon hunter arrows. Beeman carbon hunter. You get like 60, 80, 70, 90s, all this. They were a protruded carbon. I still got some in here in the junk box. But so long story short, old Pierre sold out Beeman to Easton, and then Pierre started Carbon Impact, which to the best of our knowledge has now closed down.
Yeah.
And they were a nice arrow and were very popular mid-2000s and then slowly declined, and we kept a few in here, then had a hard time finding them, and I kept calling the factory, so I think they're done. I hadn't heard from them in about 18 months now. But anyway, Easton Beeman, same company. And I think what it had boiled down to pretty much was they were making one arrow,
yeah,
and then putting Beeman ICS Hunter on it for Beeman and putting whatever on it for Power Flight or whatever for Easton. And I guess it just came to the point of, why are we doing this? So they have officially closed down the Beeman side of operations, although you'll probably still see Beeman's around for a while, like in Cabela's and Bass Pro and all that, because I'm sure they've got a big inventory of it. But I'd say in the next couple years, you won't see them on the shelf anymore. And supposedly, about 6 months ago was the last that they shipped of them. So I hate to see that name gone, but I also got tired of kind of, like, it literally would be the same arrow as an Easton equivalent. So, like, why even, what would the Easton Axis, and then Beeman had the,
oh, crap.
Anyway, it was the exact same arrow.
Yeah.
It just said Beeman instead of Easton, so I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird, but.
And, it was like, I hadn't watched any hunting shows, and I couldn't tell you when, but even like the Bone Collector boys, Michael Waddell and all them, they shot Beemans for a long time, and then Ralph and Vicky Ciancerulo, they shot Beemans for a long time.
Yep.
So I'm sad to see that name go because it's been out there a while.
It has. But anyway, somebody asked me what happened to Beeman or why can't they find them or whatever, and I was like, you probably ain't going to find them. You might find some stuff that's been in stock somewhere for a while, but like I say, the next year or so, you'll just slowly not see any on the shelves, and away it goes. So I hate to see that name gone, but I guess they just wasn't selling enough to keep them rolling, I meant to bring this up last podcast, but KJ, that y'all, if you watch the live feed, a lot of times KJ Karowski, he's on there commenting, but his nephew, every year we sponsor a car, his little derby.
Pine Derby car.
And this year it got second place. Here's the trophy right here. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you can't hardly see that, but you can get the gist of it. I think we got first last year.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the car. It looks like an arrow. Got a little Archeryshack. Oh, I about just tore it up. It's got an Archeryshack wrap on top, and it looks like an arrow. It's pretty cool. But anyway, they dropped it by, and I thought I would show y'all. See what it says here. It's got the time and all that. Anyway, I thought that was neat.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to go this year and watch it.
Yeah. If they do it. I know he's telling us that they hadn't really figured out if they was starting back or what with all the corona.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we at the shop, it's still been pretty busy. I mean, it's been a weird year, man.
Yeah, it has.
But our gun season has started about a week ago, a little over a week ago, and it's we didn't do our live feed last week. I don't know what me and TJ's got or had or got or whatever. It's like a sinusy thing, you know what I mean? We and my wife had got it, you know, and they made her get tested for COVID before she'd go back to work. And of course, it was negative, but just a weird sinusy, snotty, weird thing. So anyway, we didn't do our live feed Thursday night because we were just kind of
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let's just skip it because we don't feel the greatest. And but we'll be back this coming week. Like I said, we got a pumpkin shoot coming up. That'll be this coming Saturday. And I've done an awful job at advertising it, but we'll get a few people out here to shoot.
Yeah.
And
we may even try to shoot it ourselves.
I think so, yeah. We'll get Bobby on here one podcast, let y'all meet him. Maybe him and Bubba can be on here with us. But let me think what else here. I'm trying to think of something wild that's happened this week.
Well, I meant to ask Randy last week when we had him on here. He brought up that in Maine, where he's getting ready to go to here in a couple of weeks to hunt, he said that up there that if the property wasn't posted, you know, had posted signs all the way around the property,
that caught my attention too. I was like, wow.
That it was technically public land, but it's private land. Now I'd seen the same thing on the Hunting Public Boys on YouTube. They were in South Dakota, and that's what they said. They said as long as it's not posted, it's technically public land. And I meant to ask him, I said, even though it's technically public land, do you still ask the landowner before you go trotting through, you know, somebody's property, even though it's not posted? And I don't know if anybody that listens to us or anything like that has any area like that or a rule of that where they hunt at. And, you know, if you do, then, hey, drop us a comment and that, you know, say, hey, we go talk to the property owner or. Yeah,
because like here, if we were to bounce up on somebody's property and hunt it, we'd get shot.
Yeah.
And when he said that, I was like, do what? And we talked about it afterwards, and we were like, I asked TJ, I said, have you ever heard of this? And he had. I never have. And, but yeah, I'd be curious to know about that as well.
Yeah.
Because it would just, living here,
man.
it would blow my mind for some cat to be hunting on my property randomly because I don't have enough signs up or whatever. Like, I don't get that, but
I would still feel like, for me, I would still go to the property owner and say, hey, look, it's not posted all the way around the way it's legally supposed to, you know, but I still want to come to you and say, hey, can I go hunt on your property? Mm-hmm. You know, just to be a common courtesy kind of thing.
I'm curious to hear about this, what y'all say, because that's, like I say, around here, somebody can get shot real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was pretty cool. I got to get us a couple more guests on here. I think everybody likes the guests when we do them. We'll get Bobby on here. I need to do another. I hate doing the Skype stuff, though, because the quality is so bad on the other people's end. Like, I can make us look and sound good, but the other folks are going to be kind of blurry, and the sound's not going to be great. That's what I hate about doing it. But we need to probably do a couple and play with it. But anyway, I need to do that. But we'll get some more guests on here, and Randy was a good one last week. If y'all hadn't seen it, check it out. I think it was podcast 60. And it was Randy Ireland. He does hunting videos and that sort of thing, calls it Obsession TV. But check him out. And we had a blown up crossbow dropped off a while ago. I just thought about this.
It looked like a rat got a hold of it.
It looked bad. Like, I no joke. I guess a rat bit the string in half, I'm guessing, and then just continued to gnaw because the strings were like fuzzed out.
Bad.
I don't even know how to describe what we seen, but that was kind of an interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty interesting. But we are in the middle of the rut.
Yep.
Or I guess not the middle yet, but starting of the rut. And it won't be long. I don't know how like indoor season will go this year if you shoot tournaments, because I don't think they're going to let many people. Or, there's at least going to be space between people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't wear a face mask and shoot a bow; it'd rip your mask off.
Yeah.
So I know.
I did see where the Lancaster Classic is still going
Yeah.
on, but there was probably like 15 different changes that they were doing.
ATA canceled. Lancaster supposedly still happening. We hadn't heard about the Vegas shoot. I know indoor nationals, supposedly they're going to let local clubs have smaller shoots and then combine all the stuff. And I think that's great. I don't know, because of the COVID, I don't know, but I think if they would have done that normally, it would have probably been the biggest year they've ever had. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd be a lot more apt to go run up here to Kiwi Bowman and shoot and then let them turn my score in a national type of thing than we are to ride to Louisville and shoot it. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool.
I agree to that.
But so that's a bunch of change. I think they'll have the Vegas shoot, but I don't know what the status of Las Vegas is right now.
I don't either.
So with the election about to happen and all that, it'll calm down, I hope, in a month or so. But anyway, we'll get off here on this one, and we'll see y'all next week. But if you got any questions, feel free to reach out. All our contact stuff is below. We appreciate y'all listening.
Yep.
Let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
See ya.